So no seven-way tie for first place. The Troy Trojans are the regular season champs. But of course, because it's the Sun Belt, we got a six-way tie for second. It's Locked On Sun Belt.
You are Locked On Sun Belt, your daily podcast on the Sun Belt Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, good morning, everybody. Dave Schultz, Locked On Sun Belt, your teams every day. Today's episode brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Have your cake and drink it too. Birthday cake flavor is back. No fork needed. Vanilla cakey flavor, caffeinated kick, no sugar. It's party time. Order now at 5hourenergy.com or Amazon. All right, we're going to be a little bit softer because we got kids sleeping in the house down the hallway, so we'll keep it down a little bit. What a night in the Sun Belt. I'll be the first to tell you, did not see that coming. All right. I mean, both South Alabama and Marshall lose at home. We did see the Texas State one coming. We saw Texas State beating App State, and Troy was going to beat a ULM. But instead of getting the seven-way tie for first, Troy wins it outright, and he got six in second place. All right. So we'll see if the seedings come out. The women's bracket is out. The men's are not out just yet. So we'll see by the end of the podcast recording. It'll be out there. Rocco Miller was doing a great job and a big difference. He was breaking it down as the games were ending, right? Troy and ULM finished first. And then you had like Coastal and JMU then finished. Coastal with a nice win. And right after that was App State and Texas State. And he was doing a good job keeping up with all the tiebreakers. So some teams, despite losing, didn't take it quite on the chin as some others. So we'll get into that. All right. Great job by Troy. They win this ball game 80-65. It was close. It was, I saw it 42-39, but it got to 44-43. It got to be a 1-point game after being like an 8-point game at half. Troy in the lead the whole way. And then they went on, a 17-4 run in a 4-minute span from 13-minute mark to the 9-minute mark. They went from 44-43 to 61-47. So it was over like that. ULM didn't make any move after that. And Troy was in control. It's a great job by Troy. Again, I'm not sure what's wrong with Troy. Overall, I mean, they did what they had to do. They had a relatively easy schedule. They lost the one hard game that they had. They had the Cajuns, and they had ULM. They have twice. Did they have? They didn't have Monroe twice. We do know that. They just had a relatively easy schedule. Well, maybe they did have Monroe twice. They almost lost to Monroe. That's right. So they had ULM twice, the Cajuns, and South Alabama, and they lost the one tough game they had. So we knew they had an easy schedule. But I thought South Alabama had an easy schedule. They lost twice. Marshall loses at home. Georgia Southern could not miss from 3. So that's the way that it goes. Troy takes advantage. They are the number 1 seed. They go right to the semifinals. All right. Marshall, despite losing, I think, is your number 2 seed. All right. So we'll find that out as well. They certainly can't be behind South Alabama because they beat South Alabama. All right. So let's talk more about that. The Monroe game or the Troy victory. Thomas Dowd, 22 points, 11 rebounds, 9 out of 16 shooting. He was spectacular against ULM. Bellamy had 14 points on 6 of 9 shooting with 5 rebounds and 4 assists. Victor Valdez had a Victor Valdez kind of game. 13 points, 5 of 9 shooting, 4 rebounds and 6 assists, only 2 turnovers. Campbell brothers combined for 18 points, but only on 6 of 18 shooting. Cooper Campbell struggled from the floor, 0 of 6 from 3. Kobe Campbell was 2 of 4 from 3. And Troy was just in control of this ball game when they went on that run. You had Broadnax for ULM with 20 points on 7 of 9 field goals and 6 of 9 free throws and 9 rebounds. He had a good ball game. Christian Lewis, Troy did a good job on him. He's been They're everything lately. 11 points on just 4 of 14 shooting. Castor had 10 points. Russell had 14. Saunders had 10. So they actually had 5 guys in double figures, but those were the only 5 guys who scored. And they mostly played the entire ball game. Christian Lewis played all 40 minutes. Broadnex played 37 minutes. Russell played 38. Saunders played 34. And Castor played 33. They got some guys in at the end, but those guys really put in a yeoman's work. So Troy wins 80-65. The other big ball game, not the other big ball game, but the ball game that kind of centered on that 7-way tie was Texas State and App State. And this one I did see coming, although probably not the way that it exactly went. Texas State comes from behind to defeat App State 60-57 in their final regular season game in San Marcos as a member of the Sun Belt. Texas State went on a 9-2 run to finish it up. App State finished 1 out of 7 from the floor. Mark Drone was outstanding. 23 points for the Bobcats, 9 of 18 shooting, 4 of 4 from the free throw line, 4 assists, 3 rebounds. DJ Hall, DJ Hall, 14 points and 11 rebounds. And Davis had 12 points. Some statistical things in here are going to really upset App State. Obviously, you're going to give Texas State a lot of credit for the defense, but they out-rebounded Texas State 43-28, still only shot at 35% from the floor. They were really bad from 3, 5 out of 29. That's 17%. All right. Also, bad from the free throw line, 12 out of 22. When you're losing a 3-point ball game and you miss 10 free throws, that's going to be an obvious reason why. So that's going to be one of those things that you don't have to wonder why and how you lost it. You didn't shoot the ball well. You didn't shoot the ball well from 3. You didn't shoot the ball well at the free throw line. And nonetheless, you out-rebounded your opponent by 15 and you lost. That doesn't happen very often at all. And so Texas State, this was after Troy had already won and prevented them from having a 7-way tie because Troy had to lose. Texas State improves to 11-7, and App State finishes at 11-7. So we'll see where that goes. Obviously, I presume Texas State is going to finish ahead of App State in the standings. So we'll see where that goes. Texas State should finish ahead of South Alabama in the standings. Texas State swept South Alabama. So we'll see how it goes from there. In fact, I'm going to pause it here for a second just to see, or you know what, we're not. We're going to just track down Rocco. Let's see what he came up with here. He's got Texas State as 7th. It's very odd. Got Troy 1, Marshall 2, App State 3, South Alabama 4, Arkansas State 5, Coastal Carolina 6, Texas State 7. I mean, that's insane. So we'll see if that works out that way. And again, let me see. You guys can go check it out. It is at Rocco Miller 8. All right, and we'll see if that's the case. He breaks down all the reasons why, but I was just going head-to-head, and obviously head-to-head doesn't work out when you have a 6-way tie. You got to combine all the reasons why. So that's where we are. So here's App State is 3rd, South Alabama is 4th. That's according to Rocco Miller. We'll again find out if the Sun Belt releases the men's bracket here. They may be working through the headlines as well. They did the men. Now, do not have the bracket. Let me go to quickly. Let's find out if the Sun Belt announced a bracket. Let's go to their Twitter feed. They do not. They have not. All right. So they may be working through the tiebreakers as well. So it'll be interesting to see if the Sun Belt matches what Rocco had already come up with. All right. Tough losses for Marshall and South Alabama. And in the end, it doesn't hurt Marshall. It does hurt South Alabama. outside of being co-champion, you really want to be that 1 or 2 seed to go all the way to the semifinals. And it appears Marshall is still going to be able to do that. We'll go over those ball games after I tell you about 5-hour energy and game time. Welcome to the 5-hour energy flavor draft with 18 different flavors to choose from, including new options like confetti craze, fruity rainbow, or cotton candy. There's something for everyone. The board is set, the flavors are ready, and I've got my number 1 pick for the 5-hour energy flavor draft. I am Mr. Consistent, going with berry or grape. Those are my top 2 picks all the time, every time. If I'm going to take a flyer on one, it is going to be sour apple. Always enjoy a good sour apple. All right. 5-hour energy shots give you a boost with 0 sugar. Find your new favorite flavor at 5-hour energy shots, available online, 5hourenergy.com or Amazon. And game time. The biggest stretch of the college basketball season is almost here. Buzzer beaters, bracket busters, and those unforgettable moments that everyone's talking about the next day. Being there live for something like that, that's bucket list stuff. The hard part is always actually getting the tickets. Long queues, prices jumping around, and surprise fees at checkout. The Game Time app gives the fans advantage with constant innovation. It's how you unlock amazing tickets and experiences in just a few taps. It's incredibly simple to use. The Game Time guarantee means 100% legitimate tickets delivered on time at the best price. And here's the best part. Fees are included in the price you see. What you see is what you pay, period. The seat view feature is a game changer. You can see a panoramic view from your exact seat before you buy. Zone deals let you pick the section and save even more, while Game Time selects the seats. I love being able to follow teams in the app and get alerts when the new deals drop. No stress, no guesswork, just a smooth experience from start to finish. That's exactly why you want during the busiest part of the season. Take the guesswork out of buying college basketball tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON, LOCKEDON, for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. All right, Dave Schultz, Lockdown Sunbelt, your teams every day. All right. So the games that I did not see coming, admittedly, South Alabama losing at home and Marshall losing at home. I probably had a caveat in there, like Arkansas State had to go on an 11-1 run to beat Southern Miss. Like Southern Miss wasn't a pushover, all right? And Georgia Southern hasn't had a good season, but did they beat Marshall twice? Was that just a bad matchup that I didn't see? Because Georgia Southern's got, they beat them twice. In fact, Georgia Southern beat Marshall 101 to 87 and just beat them 99 to 82. So that's a bad matchup for Marshall. That's my bad. Didn't recognize it. But Georgia Southern has the ability to score some points, but they hadn't been, right? We went over that ball game. They had 59 points in that 101 ball game. They had 59 points in the first half. You want to go over some of the we did at the time, but they had scored. Georgia Southern hadn't scored a whole lot of points up until that. They had been in a slump, right? Like they lost 81-65 to App. That's 65 points. They did score 71 in a loss to Texas State. They scored 60 against the Cajuns in a loss. They did beat Monroe, scoring 79. And they even lost to Arkansas State 85-68. So it's just a bad matchup for Marshall. It's a good job by Georgia Southern. They pulled away in this ball game. They win at 99-82. And it was a ball game. In the second half, they didn't pull away until late. It's 12 and a half minutes left to go. 57 all, 60-60. Marshall trailed 65-64. In fact, Caleb Holenbeck had a shot with 8:37 left to go and made it 67-65. Marshall even made it 70-67. They were up 72 or 73-72, 6.5 minutes to go. And then Georgia Southern took control. So it was 73-72. And then Georgia Southern just methodically took control. White hit a three-pointer. Tyron Moore hit a three-pointer. White had a layup. You had another Tyron Moore three-pointer. Applewhite made a couple of free throws. Tyron Moore hit a couple of free throws. And again, it just kind of methodically, they blew them out at the end, right? With 6.5 minutes left to go, 73-72. That's a 27-9 run in 6.5 minutes. I mean, that's a really good job by Georgia Southern. Tough job by Marshall in that spot. Let me see where my scoreboard is here. All right. For Georgia Southern, Tyron Moore had 26 points, 8 out of 15 shooting, 8 3-pointers, 2 of 2 from the free throw line. Applewhite poured in with 23 points. Alden Applewhite, 7 out of 9 from the floor. Did make a 3, but 9 out of 12 from the free throw line. That's a good job. Georgia Southern, 20 out of 24 from the free throw line, not allowing Marshall to think about coming back. White with 20 points, 7 out of 11 shooting. I mean, they shot 53% for the game. They shot 58.5% in the second half. That's tough. Marshall shot 58.5% in the second half, but they cooled off, obviously, as Georgia Southern went on that big run. Wyatt Fricks had a huge ball game, 25 points, 10 of 14 shooting, 8 rebounds. Oshuni had 19 points, Lan Joseph 12 points, and Hughie had 10 off of the bench. So just not enough as Marshall falls into that second place tie. Southern Miss basically dominated this ball game. After a little bit of a slow start, they were in control for most of the ball game. South Alabama led early, but I would tell you that once Southern Miss took the lead, South Alabama never got it back. Southern Miss with this ball game, 68-55, and really wasn't the South Alabama defense so much as the South Alabama offense. Southern Miss did a really good job on the South Alabama offense. South Alabama only 4 out of 22. Remember, they put up a 90 spot against Monroe last game. Southern Miss shot 10 out of 24 from 3. That's good, pretty good, 42%, obviously. But that happens all the time against South Alabama. But here was the key part of the ballgame. South Alabama was down 15 points and got it to be 9. They got a 15-point ball game, down to 9 at 53-44. And then, in fact, it got down to 8, 54-46. And then they hit a bunch of three-pointers all in a row. Tramble hit one, Lewis hit one, and Tramble hit another one. So it went from 54-46 to 63-46 ball game. All right. As a Syracuse fan who's seen this, you live and die by the 3. All right. Richie Riley's going to play that zone. He's not going to necessarily come out on the shooters because he wants you to shoot it, that eventually you're going to miss. Well, they made him flat out. Southern Miss made him. So that's why Southern Miss had an okay night offensively, not spectacular. Let's see what they shot overall. I mean, it kind of feels like they shot what South Alabama usually gives up. I mean, they shot 45%, but it was the Southern Miss defense that was very, very good. I mean, Chase Harris, 23 points, 9 out of 18 from the floor, 5 of 7 from the free throw line. Also had 9 rebounds for that fact of the matter. I guess the big question is, who is going to be the player of the year? Is it going to be Thomas Dowd? He hasn't had a great statistical year. I still think Troy is the best team. I think Chase Harris is your player of the year, but Let's see, because it was Harris and Weeks were going for scoring champ, and Harris had 23 points to Weeks 19. So we'll see, see how that finishes out. But again, not to put it all on him because it's not fair. But Adam Olsen had a bad ball game. He had 14 points, but he was 2 out of 10 from the floor, 2 of 8 from 3. He was 8 out of 9 from the free throw line. At least a couple of times he got fouled shooting a 3. Jaden Cooper had an off night as well, 4 out of 13. But even Lewis June, 1 point on 0 of 6 from the floor, right? And so it was not South Alabama's night, all right? Whereas Southern Miss, you had Weeks with 19, Tramble had 18, and Bennett had 13. So that's a good night for Southern Miss and South Alabama. Again, a bugaboo. Not sure would have been a huge difference in this ball game, but they did miss 10 more free throws, all right? Southern Miss had 14 turnovers to South Alabama 6. It's unbelievable. Rebounding edge was Southern Miss 43-30. All right. Okay. Elsewhere in the Sun Belt, I guess we should go over the rest. You did have the other ball game. Was another good ball game. It was Coastal Carolina and James Madison, 69-68. Josh Beadle hit a step back jumper to win it. Like James Madison, this was a really good basketball game. All right. This was kind of back and forth. And Josh Beadle hit a shot. I think James Madison missed some free throws. They missed 7, 14 out of 21. That's going to be an issue. But Josh Beadle with a nice win as Coastal is in that mix at the second spot with 11-7. James Madison, again, not going to be an easy out in the Sun Belt tournament, but they're going to have their work cut out for them. Beadle with 29 points, 6 of 6 from the free throw line, 7 rebounds as well. And you had Dantzler with 20 points. He made 3 3-pointers. Pete only had 6 points, but he grabbed 10 rebounds. For James Madison, Davis had 25 points. McBride had 12, and Bradley Douglas had 11. Coastal Carolina beats James Madison 69-68. And the other ball game, this wasn't close, mostly due to, the Cajuns are banged up. Dorian Finister is out, and they haven't played well since. Arkansas State controls this ball game, beats the Cajuns 81-58. Again, Arkansas State's kind of one of those teams, kind of figured it out. If they can play any defense, they're going to be tough. Caldwell had 19 points. Heyman had 15 points. Hampton had 13 points. For the Cajuns, Olvera had 13. Laverne had 11, and Bial had 15 points to lead for the Cajuns. All right. Arkansas State shot 47%. Free throws not good. That's going to be an issue. 12 out of 24. They didn't need them last night, but it is a thing. All right. So again, we're going to go over. I'm going to pause things right here. See if the Sun Belt came out with the brackets yet. See if I can find them online somewhere, and we'll come back and wrap it up. All right. We'll just go with Rocco Miller's brackets if that's the case. All right. Hang tight. We'll continue right after I tell you about Coast. Coast Pay is giving Locked On College listeners up to $2,000 credit for your business when you get started today. If you manage a crew, construction, HVAC, landscaping, any operation with trucks on the road, you already know how messy gas and materials spending can get. Cards get shared, receipts disappear, and month end turns into a headache. Coast Pay fixes all that. Coast Pay is the modern fuel card and expense management tool built specifically for fleets. Fuel maintenance, materials, all on one card with real control and instant visibility. Every transaction shows up the moment it happens. No surprises. If someone fuels up at an odd time or tries to buy something outside their limit, you'll know instantly. Real-time alerts, so you always know who's spending what and where. Automatic receipt capture that makes month end simple. Fraud protection with employee check-ins by text, no shared PINs, and works anywhere Visa is accepted. No detours to specific stations. It's built for operators who don't have time to chase paperwork, and unlike old fuel cards, there are no contracts or commitments, just smarter expense control. Right now, Coast Pay is offering our listeners up to $2,000 credit when you get started at coastpay.com/lockdowncollege. Go to coastpay.com/lockdowncollege to see how you can earn up to $2,000 credit. Terms apply. The Coast Visa commercial credit card is issued by Celtic Bank. All card accounts are subject to credit approval. Also, let me tell you about the Everydayer Club. Thank you for making Locked On Sunbelt your first listen of the day. And thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. You already live your Sunbelt sports all day, every day. Now take it up a level and go ad-free. Join the Everydayer Club today and get Locked On Sunbelt with no interruptions, all for just $5 or $50 a year. Go to lockedonsunbelt.supercast.com or check the link in the show notes to learn more. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. I waited as long as I could. All right, that Marshall game was over somewhere before 10:30 Central Time, and it's close to 20 after 11 Central Time. I already recorded about 25 minutes, and I had made a mistake on the graphic, so I started again. So that's about 35 minutes. So the Sun Belt seems to be having just as much issues with their tiebreakers as everybody else's. Okay. And so we don't have a bracket yet at, again, 11:20 or 12:20 Eastern Time, AM. All right. I don't know if everybody went to bed, right? I don't know if we need some mathematicians from Tulane or Xavier to our Loyola to do it. So it's going to be different when we wake up in the morning. Okay. So we have two completely almost different brackets. All right. So my guy, Rocco Miller, was the bracketologist. He has a website, but he's already apologizing. Disclaimer: I use traditionally dependable software for the seed outcomes, but please, no community notes if something is off. This, of course, is the first league to conclude league play and is the most chaotic league bracket by a country mile. I think someone said we had chaos. Well, we all got chaos. We got it, except Troy. The one thing we know is that Troy is the #1 seed. They will not play until Sunday. All right. They have more than a week off to prepare. All right. Remember, South Alabama was the #1 seed last year and they got knocked off. Okay. Then it goes somewhere different. Okay. So we'll go through Rocco Miller, and then somebody else is posting what they think it is. All right. At least I got that. Let me see if I got someone else had the whole thing, because Rocco's just doing the top 8. Let me see if I can find that. Find it all, because the other one who did it was T3 Bracketology. All right. And he's got something to do. All right. He's got his disclaimer too. I apologize for any Sunbelt seeding confusion. As of 12:13 a.m. on February 28th, I will be announcing my retirement from Sunbelt seeding scenarios. The conference tiebreakers have defeated me. Sometimes you just have to know when to hang up. Take notes, LeBron. I don't know why LeBron's getting strays. We appreciate the effort, because I can't figure it out. So there's no criticism in these things. But I thought someone had put Rocco's whole thing up underneath one of them. Let me see here. I was going to go with that. No, I just have it through 8. So we'll just do that. I guess it's just the top 8 that makes the difference. But we'll do TM bracketology as well. All right. So we got Rocco. We'll start off with Rocco. And so obviously Troy is 1. He's got Marshall #2. Okay. At 11-7. It says, based on winning percentage against number 8 teams, JMU and Southern Miss. Why that's the case, I do not know. Marshall is 3-0. All right, in that case. App State is 11-7. They're 3rd. So not a complete fall from grace. Not 1 or 2, obviously, but not the worst that it could have been. Okay. And he goes through all of it. they got winning percentage that's 2-1 and 2-1 and 2-0 and 1-0. So they're pretty good. So App State's 3. Somehow South Alabama is 4. I don't understand how that's the case. They did sweep Arkansas State, but they got swept by Texas State. Texas State right now in Rocco's bracket is the big loser. They're 7th. Not great. Arkansas State has moved all the way up to 5th. South Alabama is obviously a loser as well, South Alabama and App State, because they didn't get to be the top 2 seeds. But I don't think South Alabama would have been South Alabama would have been a top 2 seed because Marshall lost. All right. Marshall gets to be a top 2 seed because App State and South Alabama lost. And so South Alabama is 4th. Arkansas State is 5th. Coastal Carolina 6th. Texas State 7th. Southern Miss 8th. All right. That's in Rocco Miller's bracketology. All right. We'll see. Now we go to T3. And we'll tell you what he did it twice. Can I tell you that? He ended up doing it twice. Let me see if he so he already apologized. He had done it a couple of times. I think he may have erased some. Yeah. So okay. So the first one was Troy, Texas State, Coastal, Marshall, Arkansas State, South Alabama, App State, Southern Miss 8. All right. So Troy, Texas State 2, Coastal 3, Marshall 4, Arkansas State 5, South Alabama 6, App State 7, Southern Miss 8. All right. Let's see. Did this change it? Oh, then he went Troy 1, App State 2, Texas State 3, Arkansas State 4, South Alabama 5, Marshall 6th, could you imagine, and Coastal 7th with Southern Miss 8th. All right. Someone actually tweeted out the right answer to all of this. Sadly enough, Troy 1, 2 through 13, a mess. ULM 14. Poor ULM. So this will be done hopefully by the morning. All right. But it is 2 very different brackets. In fact, T3 Bracketology, retired from this mess, and he just came up with 2, in fact, maybe 3 different brackets. All right. I appreciate him saying he wasn't right. Again, not criticizing. We're not criticizing. We're showing you their work a little bit. You can see it. He did not erase it, but he's asking you not to like it or share it. I guess you could erase it, but I you know what? We're going to, I do have the Rocco one. I'm going to take just screenshot it just to see how close they are. And again, these guys are doing it, trying to do it right after the games. And as of right now, we're more than an hour since it was done. And they haven't announced it yet. So that's kind of crazy. Now, obviously, the Sun Belt is having just as big as issues. So trying to figure this all out. I mean, we'll try it again. Sun Belt, 12:25 Eastern Time, AM, still not up. Let's see when Georgia Southern posted their win over Georgia Southern posted they tweeted the post, let's see here, at 10:09, that's Central Time. So we're an hour and a half later ish, hour and 20 minutes later. So they haven't figured it out yet. So we're not certainly going to criticize Rocco and T3 Bracketology. They went at a stab at it. That's why these tiebreakers give me a headache. So we'll see. We'll certainly have it for Monday's episode, we think. and we'll go from there. But obviously, missed opportunities. If Marshall is your number 2, they don't lose anything. But App State missed out a chance to be number 2 and or number 1, actually, if App State wins, because they beat Troy. So they would have been number 1. South Alabama, if they fall below 4, that's a tough spot. And if Texas State is 7th, ouch. That's not great. Not great. But we'll see how it goes. Again, we'll see what the matchups are, because, again, like at JMU, can they beat somebody? Can Georgia Southern beat somebody? Again, when you're playing your 4th game and someone's playing their 1st, maybe not. But if you're playing your 3rd and they're playing their 1st, maybe. So we'll see how we'll see how it all breaks down. But it has not been broken down almost an hour and a half after the final game. Usually these things are up like that because they want to post it. I don't know. Maybe they went to bed. I don't know. I do not know. All right. So thanks for tuning in. I'm going to work. We'll see when I get to it. I'll probably do it before I leave. We're going to go work out. If I see it, I'll post it. Maybe I'll do a quick video of it, but I'll definitely retweet it or something like that whenever I see that the bracket is posted. And that's what Monday's episode will be about. We'll preview the tournament. All right. Quite the night. And on the other side of things, Southern Miss, it was not a great night for baseball. And in the Sun Belt, it was a bad night for baseball. We can check out what Coastal is doing. Not a great night for baseball. All right. Southern Miss had a good night. The rest of the conference really did not have a good night, almost at all. Arkansas State did. Georgia State did. South Alabama did. Coastal took it on the chin. Cajuns took it on the chin. James Madison took it on the chin. Troy lost. It was not a particularly good night outside of Southern Miss. Is as of shortly after they finished, were because Ole Miss lost. They were the number 1 team RPI. Pretty good. Southern Miss is at least on Warren Nolan, is your number 1 team RPI. So we'll do more baseball. That's probably going to hold until we'll see Tuesday or something along those lines. We'll see where we can get the baseball in. We got to do a little baseball on Monday, especially if Southern Miss, wins the series or sweeps La Tech. That's got to get in Monday's episode. So it'll mostly be basketball. That's for sure. All right. Thank you very much for tuning in. I waited as long as I could. Have a great night, everybody. In some cases, mornings. We'll talk to you again soon. You've been watching Lockdown Sunbelt, your team every day. We'll talk to you again soon.